The gods thought they were eternal, but he proved they could die. With a blade born from darkness, he swore to butcher them all. This is the story of the man who nearly erased every god and marvel and broke Thor's very soul. Meet Gorr, the God Butcher. He was born where nothing should live. On a nameless world of ash and sand, every sunrise was a death sentence. His people prayed for rain, for mercy, for the gods to save them. But for Gorr, the gods never came. He watched his mother starve to feed him, but in the end, she was consumed by the very hunger she tried to fight. For a moment, he found happiness, but he watched his wife swallowed by the earth, and her death shattered what little hope he had left. Then came the worst. He held his son in his arms as the boy begged for water and died with none. That broke him completely. Gorr prayed. He begged. He screamed to the skies, and the skies were silent. In that silence, faith rotted. If gods existed, they were cruel. If they ignored the cries of the innocent, then they deserved only one thing, not worship, death. And then, fate answered. Two gods crashed from the heavens, locked in battle. One lay dying. The other wielded a blade unlike any weapon forged by mortals. All black, the Necrosword. A weapon older than gods, forged by Knull, the god of the symbiotes. A blade that could kill immortals, tear through time, and drown worlds in living shadow. Gorr took it in his hands. The moment steel touched his skin, the void itself filled his veins. He was no longer a desperate man. He was judgment. He was vengeance. He was the God Butcher. And from that moment on, his crusade began. The first to fall was a god of the hunt, then a god of rivers, then gods of entire civilizations. Everywhere Gorr walked, prayers ended in silence. To the mortals, it was terror. Whole worlds suddenly abandoned. Temples crumbled into graves. The sky went quiet, not because the gods ignored them, but because their gods were dead. And Gorr's creed spread like a plague. The gods do not answer. The gods do not care. So the gods must die. But his crusade brought him face to face with one god who refused to fall. Thor. In the age of Vikings, Gorr confronted the young god of thunder. Arrogant, drunk on battle, Thor thought no mortal could touch him. But Gorr was no mortal. The Necrosword tore through divine flesh. Thor fought with all the fury of youth, his axe splitting skulls, his laughter shaking the battlefield. But against Gorr, that arrogance meant nothing. The Butcher dragged him down. Chains of living darkness bound the god of thunder. Thor was beaten, his blood soaking the earth, his cries echoing in the night. Gorr wanted him broken. He wanted the god of thunder to beg, to kneel, to die screaming before his own worshippers. A lesson that no god could save them. But Thor did not kneel. In a desperate fury, he fought free, severing Gorr's hand and forcing the Butcher to retreat. Yet even maimed, Gorr lived. The Necrosword whispered, and the shadows carried him away. Neither claimed victory that day, but from that moment on, their war would span millennia, across worlds, across time, across eternity. Centuries passed. Gorr's slaughter spread like a plague across the stars. Pantheons fell in silence. Whole civilizations woke to find their gods gone, their prayers unanswered forever. Thor the Avenger followed whispers, stories of dead gods, vanished protectors, until he came to the world of Indigar. The people begged for their god of rain to save their dying crops. But when Thor entered the temple, he found only corpses, dozens of divine bodies nailed to the walls, strung like grotesque trophies. Blood dried into stone, golden armor rusting in silence. A temple turned into a tomb. This was no random killer. This was not vengeance against a single god. This was a holy war against divinity itself. And across the stream of time, Thor saw what awaited him if Gorr was not stopped. At the end of eternity, only one god remained, All-Father Thor. Old, broken, alone on a crumbling throne, Asgard reduced to ashes, surrounded by Gorr's endless black legions. He was the last god alive. Because in that future, Gorr had already won. Gorr was not content with killing gods one by one. Slaughter was too slow. So he built a weapon to end them all at once. Across galaxies, he captured gods of every pantheon. Chained in pits, whipped and beaten, they were forced to labor. Every hammer strike, every scream of pain, went into the making of his creation. The God Bomb, a weapon forged from living darkness, fueled by the blood of enslaved divinity. When it detonated, its blast would ripple through all of time and space. From the first god born in the dawn of creation to the last deity at the end of eternity, all would die in a single instant. It was not murder, it was not conquest. To Gorr, it was salvation, a universe free of gods, free of lies. But fate gathered three storms against him. Young Thor, reckless and untested. Thor the Avenger, proud but uncertain. And All-Father Thor, weary, broken, the last survivor of godhood itself. Three Thors, three hammers, three versions of the same god, all forced to face the question Gorr had carved into the stars. Are gods truly worthy? The battle shook the stars. Necrosword against Mjolnir. Every strike tore through heaven itself. The three Thors fought with everything they had. But Gorr only grew stronger. The blade whispered. The void consumed him. He was no longer a man with a weapon. He was a god of wrath. And then Thor struck back, with the very darkness that had fed Gorr. In trying to stop the God Bomb, the Thunder God had taken its power into himself. Now lightning and void surged together in his veins. The clash shook the cosmos. Mjolnir burned not only with storm, but with the black fire of the Necrosword itself. And for the first time, Gorr faltered. From the shadows of his own mind appeared his son, not truly alive, an echo conjured by the Necrosword. The boy looked at him and said, "You are not our savior. You have become what you hate. You have become a god." The words struck deeper than any hammer. The crusader who hated gods had become one. The hypocrisy broke him. Thor seized the moment, and with one final swing, Thor cut off Gorr's head. The God Bomb crumbled into dust. The enslaved gods were freed. The Butcher's crusade ended in silence. Thor stood victorious, yet in his heart, Gorr's words echoed louder than any thunder. Are gods truly worthy of worship? Do they answer prayers? Or are they parasites, feeding on faith, giving nothing in return? It was doubt that no victory could erase. And years later, when Nick Fury whispered to Thor, Gorr was right. Mjolnir slipped from his hand, and the god of thunder was no longer worthy. But that is another story. That was the story of Gorr, the God Butcher. Let me know in the comments, was Gorr right? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell, so you won't miss the next Marvel story explained. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.